Hey guys, how's it going today? In this video, I'm gonna explain about how to make carb loading properly. First of all, why do we want to do carbohydrates? And what is carbohydrates? The reason is very simple. In a marathon race, the more glycogen we have, the better on a race day. The reason is very simple. In a marathon race or in our lives, we have roughly speaking 4 types of metabolic systems. And roughly speaking, we have 2 types of metabolic system. One is aerobic system and second is anaerobic system. And in a marathon race or in our normal life, we don't use anaerobic aerobic systems at all. In a marathon race, if you use anaerobic metabolic system, it's a big mistake. Maybe you cannot run as fast as possible. It's simply overpace in the beginning. So in our normal lives and on a marathon race, we shouldn't use anaerobic metabolic system. So on a marathon race or in our normal lives, we use only aerobic metabolic system. And there is 2 types of aerobic system. One is using oxygen and glycogen. And the second is using oxygen and fatty acids. And with fatty acids, we have a tons of energies. It can't run out in a marathon race. Maybe we can run 20 marathons with fatty acids because we have tons of fatty acids. No matter how thin you are or how thin I am, let's say my body mass is 60 kg. And let's say my fat rate is only 5%, meaning I have 3 kg fat or fatty acids. But with that energy, I can run marathon at least 10 times. So there's no problem at all with fatty acids. But with glycogen, we cannot run even 1 marathon, maybe half of it. And then our glycogen is run out if we use only aerobic glycolic system. But usually or always we combine these 2 types of systems. So we combine fatty acids with glycogen. I mean fatty acid system and the glycogen system. So we always use both type of energy systems, and the better energy source is glycogen because we can produce energy faster with glycogen than with fatty acids. So the glycogen is better source, energy source, but we can have only approximately 400 gram glycogen in our bodies, and 1 gram glycogen has 4 kilocalorie, meaning 4 times 400 equal 1600 kilocalorie with glycogen. But if I run the marathon, my body mass is, let's say, 60 kg. Then I need approximately 2500, 2500 kilocalorie energy. But I can produce only 1600 kilocalorie with glycogen. So I need to combine fatty acids and glycogens. But if I want to run fast, the faster I run, the more glycogen I need. That's why the more glycogen I have on a marathon race day, the better. That's why we want to do carbohydrates loading. And how we can do it is approximately 70 hours before the marathon race to 20 hours before a marathon race, eating as much as possible carbohydrates. It's plain and simple. And also chew it as much as possible. Because we need not only eating it, but also digesting it. and storing a glycogen. Storing carbohydrates in the form of glycogen. So we eat carbohydrates, for example, rice, pasta, or breads, and these are carbohydrates. And carbohydrates are stored in our muscles in the form of glycogen. The name changes, but basically the material is same, but the name changes in our body and when we are eating. The biggest mistake about carbohydrates loading, is eating as much as possible before a marathon race, meaning in the morning of marathon race. It's the biggest mistake because it takes at least 20 hours convert carbohydrates into glycogen in our muscle cells or in our liver. So, for example, I eat bread or rice cake or rice ball 3 hours before a marathon. I cannot use that energy during the race because it takes at least 20 hours to convert it into glycogen in my muscle cells. So we need to finish carbohydrates loading approximately 20 hours before the race. And we need to start it approximately 72 hours before a marathon. And basically, eat carbohydrates as possible, as many carbohydrates as possible. But a problem is, if I eat it once, as many carbohydrates as possible, I cannot digest it because my stomach is not so big. So I eat carbohydrates not in a once, but maybe 3 times a day or 4 times a day or 5 times a day. And I keep doing it from 72 hours before the race to approximately 20 hours before a race. And usually the marathon race start time is 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. or maybe afternoon, usually in the morning, right? Of course, it depends on the race, but almost all marathon races start in the morning. So, let's say the race day is on a Sunday. Then, until the lunch on a Saturday, I eat as many carbohydrates as possible and also chew it as much as possible. And the dinner on Saturday, I eat it normally because if I eat it too much, it causes a stomachache during race. And also, maybe it helps me a little bit because after the dinner, I go to bed and sleeping. Usually during sleeping, our body converts carbohydrates into glycogen more than usual. So maybe sleeping helps me a little bit. That's why still dinner on a Saturday helps me a little bit. But I eat it just normally. Because if I eat it too much, that causes a stomachache during a race. And breakfast on a race day, I eat it lightly. I don't eat much anymore because I'm nervous and I do not have many hours until the starting time. Maybe usually I have a breakfast 4 hours starting time. So let's say 9 a.m. is the starting time. Then at least I need to finish my breakfast by 5:30 a.m. So I have only 3 to 4 hours until the starting time. So if I eat many carbohydrates, then it causes a stomachache. That's why I eat it very lightly. And breakfast does not help me. The breakfast helps a little bit my brain, but only brain, not muscles. So again, I need to finish my carbohydrates loading before lunch on Saturday. And then also here's a point. I should not have many fats because my stomach, my digesting system has a limit. I cannot digest everything at once. If I have fat or if I have many vegetables or fruits, then I cannot digest carbohydrates as much as possible. Everything has a limit, right? I cannot talk a lot at once, and I have energy. That's why it's very complicated to work hard and also train hard. It's very difficult. And just like that, my digesting system cannot digest everything at once. So if I want to digest carbohydrates as much as possible, then I should not have fat or vegetables or fruits. Just I need to focus on having as many carbohydrates as possible and chew it as much as possible to digest it very well. Alright, this is very simple how to do carbohydrates loading, and I hope it helps you a lot. Thank you for your watching and see you in next video. Thank you.